Hey there, it's Jane. Today, and our little flower just fell off. Today I want to show you how to make these fabric flowers. Isn't that beautiful? This is a fabric flower that I made for my cloth doll. I put in a vintage button, mother of pearl with a little rhinestone, sewed on a ribbon, and this is her fabulous little headpiece. And this one I made out of this is a vintage Ralph Lauren voile. Isn't this beautiful? I have it in this blue background, a pinky red background, and a cream background. I'm quite a collector. But this is what they look like, and they're wonderful. You could use them like this. You could add them to clothes, barrettes, jewelry, you name it. They're a lot of fun, and they're really, really easy to make. So let's move Meredith over. Now, one more thing about this. This is, I'm looking at a little setting there giving me an alarm. Oh, goodness. This is made out of 2.5-inch squares. So the bigger the square, the larger your flower. The smaller the squares you use, the smaller your flower. And the one I'm going to show you today, I cut out 3-inch squares. And for my flower, I cut out 9. So I'm using 9 3-inch squares to make this flower. You're going to need pins. You're going to need obviously a needle and thread, and some good scissors, because we're cutting through some layers here. And this is a quilting cotton, so it's a little bit heavier than the voile. I have to tell you, I just realized I've had these. I'm a lefty. These are gingers, and I've had these for over 35 years. And I'm a retired hairstylist, so I try to take care of them, oil, keep the sheath on them, and they're like new. They're incredible. So investing in good tools, well-made tools, you'll never be disappointed. All right, I'm going to bring my camera in because this is kind of like origami, not origami. So here they are, my little squares. And the first thing you're going to do is make a triangle. So you're just going to fold it like that. And then you're going to fold it again. Like that. Now you could finger press, if it helps, these two ends, but not the middle, because that's the petal and we don't want to have that creased. And once you do that, you're going to fold down one side to the front, one side to the back like that. And then you have a petal that looks like this. But we're going to do one more fold. We're going to take this end here, or bottom of this triangle, fold it up towards the middle, and do the same thing with the other side like that. So it will look like this. All right, then I'm going to take a pin and just put it right through the middle, all the way through to hold it in place. So let's do that again. I'm going to bring the camera out just a tad. There we go. Here's our square. Fold it into a triangle. Fold it again, like that. And then you're going to take the top, fold it down to one side, that part in the back, fold it down to the other side, and you have a petal that looks like this. And then you're going to take that bottom, fold it towards the middle, take the other side, fold it towards the middle, grab a pin, and pin it in place like that. All right, we'll do it one more time. We have our nice little collection here. Grab your square. Again, this is a 3-inch square. Fold it. Fold it again. Fold down. Fold down. And then just take these little, I don't know, triangles, corners, and fold those up towards the middle. Grab a pin and put that through, and that holds your petal. Now, again, I'm going to bring this out even a little bit more. Now we're going to get these ready to sew together. If we sewed these all together, because we're going to be putting our needle through where the pin is, they wouldn't make this circle because there's too much fabric. So we need to trim them. So I'm going to take my scissors and trim like that. All right, so there's that little triangle. So I'm taking off about 1/3 of that little triangle. Boom. And it looks like this. All right, and we're gonna, oops, of course I do that all the time, you guys. I am constantly pinning myself. Okay, again, take about 1/3 of that little triangle off the bottom. And this is such a great project for spring, which I feel like it's here in Connecticut. Flowers are blooming everywhere. So it's perfect for spring, great for Easter and Passover. You can make, you could put these on wire and have a really beautiful display. A little bit more for that one, and one more. I'll try not to pin my finger. Okay. Get rid of all of that. Bring these all in. Whoop. Now I want to go the other way. Woohoo. Okay. So I have a needle and thread here. I'm just using regular cotton sewing thread because that's what I have in my pin cushion. I would really suggest using either a quilting thread, so something a little bit heavier, or you could even use a couple of strands of embroidery floss because you want something strong. So that would be the best. Now the other thing is there's the front of our petal and there's the back of our petal. Now you could do every other, you know, if you want to make an interesting kind of texture difference between the petals and have one up and one down and sew those together. But I want all of mine to be this way, this direction. And I made the mistake when I used to make these messing that up. So you really need to sew them this way. So you could put them all in a row like this to help you so you don't have to think about it once you're sewing them. So they're all facing up. And now all I'm going to do, take my pin out and go through exactly where that pin was, right? Now I'm getting my thread stuck on my pin cushion. Okay, same thing. And you see how they kind of go together in the perfect direction. actually saw a woman take a vintage cashmere sweater, one of the ones that they would come in sweater sets that button down the front, and she made these and sewed them all different sizes all over the sweater, and it was absolutely gorgeous. So you see our flower forming there. I just love this. And the other thing about this project is it's really great for using up scraps. And if you're a quilter like me or a sewer, if you work with fabric, right, you have a lot of scraps. And for those of you that, you know, like working really small, you could probably make these from little, you know, 1.5-inch squares, but it really uses up those scraps. And the other thing, you know, because creativity knows no bounds, you don't have to use the same fabric like I did here. You could do 2 different fabrics together. You can do a, you know, every single petal a different one. You could do something beautiful and monochromatic, so all different shades of pink or red or yellow. It'd be very cool. All right, so there is the flower, right, beginning. Then we just have to pull this, and you'll see, kind of pull it and form it into our flower. Like this. Actually, what I think I'm going to do, there it goes. I'm just going to put a little knot in just like this before I pull it into the flower, because this fabric is pretty, it's got a lot of body and it's pushing everything away and opening up my flower. All right, and form into your flower like this. All right, so there, ooh, and I'm off camera. So there it is. So now I'm just going to take my needle and go through the one next to the end of the flower petals like this. And this is a little finicky, gets a little fussy, but pull it through, and I pull it through the next one, like that. All right, and then what I'm going to do, give this a nice pull, and go through the back. All right, so you see this is the back of the flower. Here is the front of the flower. And you can finesse this, you know, open these up, you know, work it like that so you get your perfect flower shape. And that basically I do last, to be honest. But here is my needle coming through, and to make this extra secure, I'm just going to go through the backs of my petals like this. And just work your way around. And this makes your flower like a little bit more secure. And if I were going to put this on a piece of clothing, I would probably sew like maybe a piece of felt on the back. Okay, and then now I'm just going to go one more in here and tie this off and then kind of make it into the shape that I want. Okay, I'm just going to do a quilter's knot. That. And I'm going to have to use my big giant scissors here to cut this off. And let's look. So now I'm just going to move these around. And you'll see there's like this middle right there. Isn't that pretty? Where everything comes together. And what would be great, once you get it just like you want it, you can grab, like I did here, a button like this. You could make a little, if you have any wool felt lying around, you could cut out a little flower, right? So little petals, and then sew it to your flower, right, base. Put some beads in there so it looks like the stamen or the seeds. But look at how cool. Even the back is really cool. And it kind of curves over like this. But it's absolutely, I just think these are beautiful. The other thing you can make these out of is if you have big like silk ribbon or some kind of really cool ribbon where you could cut out squares, because ribbons come in so many great colors and textures. So that would be wonderful to use. But this is your basic flower. You could sew on 2 leaves on the back of this. It's just, you know, the possibilities are endless, as they say. So there's a little one with a button, and I don't know what I'm going to do with this one yet. The other thing I was going to say is I used 9 petals here. If you do more, it's going to be more concentrated. If you do less, you might just have like 5 coming out. And when you do something like that, it is good to put a base, some kind of base, like some felt, to sew those down and kind of tack them into place, right? The more space there is between the petals, the more movement it has. And if you want to really secure it, that's what I would suggest. So that's it, you guys. That's for today, our little spring project. Any questions at all, please ask in the comments, and give it a shot. Give it a try. Let me know how it goes. And I'll be back again next week with something new. See you guys then.